Lesson 7. Tudor Crime and Punishment. The Tudors believed in swift and harsh punishments, even for small crimes, so as to scare others from committing the crimes themselves. Common Tudor crimes included theft, damage to property, vagrancy, which is being homeless and begging, assault, heresy, witchcraft and murder. The worst crime that you could commit was treason. This included plotting against the monarch or insulting them. Poverty was rife in Tudor England. People worked hard all year farming, but if there was a drought or illness which impacted their harvest, there was no support from the government, and they would starve. Many would have little choice but resort to begging or stealing just to try and survive. Common Tudor punishments: whipping for thieves worth less than a shilling, vagrants, homeless people, or those who refused to go to church; branding, being burnt with a hot iron; stocks, they would be in the centre of a village. Those looked in it would be mocked by others and have rotten veg thrown at them; a scold's bride, a metal framed device which goes over the head with a metal gag. It's often used for those who gossiped. It was mostly a punishment for women. Dismemberment, limbs were cut off. The drunkard's cloak, an ale barrel would have holes cut out for a person's arms and head and lower body so they could wear it like a really heavy shirt and walk through the village being mocked. This was for being drunk in public. Serious crimes such as treason, crimes against the monarch, or heresy, which is crimes against the church, carried more serious punishments, including beheading, being hung, drawn and quartered, being burned at the stake, being pressed, which was being crushed, or being boiled alive. Executions were social events. People would come and bring their friends and family to watch. There'd be stalls selling snacks and ales and memorabilia, a bit like a sporting event you might go to today. It's been estimated that 70,000 people received the death penalty during Henry's reign. The belief in witchcraft was prevalent during the Elizabethan era, and witchcraft trials were conducted. Those accused of witchcraft faced harsh interrogations, torture, and if found guilty, execution by hanging or burning at the stake. The severity of punishments varied depending on the social status of the offender and the specific circumstances of the crime. The Tower of London. The Tower of London was a royal castle that was first used as a royal residence, but later became used as a prison for important people and where torture took place. In the Tudor era, the Tower housed many important prisoners and was the site where Anne Boleyn, Catherine Howard and Lady Jane Grey were beheaded. Elizabeth I herself was kept prisoner at the Tower during her sister Mary I's reign and faced execution for treason and plotting against Mary. Important areas of the Tower of London: the Traitor's Gate. This is the water entry known as the Traitor's Gate. Many prisoners were dragged into the Tower through this entrance, including Elizabeth I when Mary I had her imprisoned. Tower Green. This is where 7 private executions took place. Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard were 2 of those. The Chapel of St. Peter's. The present chapel was built in 1519. Those executed on Tower Green and some from Tower Hill were buried at the chapel, including Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard. The Bell Tower. This is where Elizabeth I was held prisoner. Tudors would have been terrified of being sent to the Tower of London, never knowing if they'd be released again and what horrors might befall them while they were housed there. For your crime and punishment activity, you're going to hold your own Tudor court. Now, this isn't the type of Tudor court Henry had, where the people, courtiers, would surround him. This is a judge and jury Tudor court. What you need is 1 dice and a worksheet Tudor judge. First, roll your dice to give you the scenario of the crime, and then roll it again to give you the type of Tudor that's being accused. Use this information to decide what punishment the Tudors would have given them, or whether it would have been more severe due to their social status. Why not get your siblings to pretend to be the convicted criminal, and then you can have fun sentencing them to the horrible Tudor punishments?